Hi, I'm Nat Rosenthal. I'm Vice President of Professional Services, joining you once again, but this time I'm sitting in the moderating seat. And I am joined by Ansen Hatch, Director of Finance from Choco. Welcome, Ansen.
Thanks, great to be with you today.
We're going to talk a little bit about Choco, how they've leveraged NetSuite Advanced Customer Support, or ACS, to accelerate and grow the business. But to start, why don't you tell us a little bit about Choco?
Sure, so Choco, we are a DIY home decor company. We have a proprietary chalk paste. We specialize in hard surfaces and silkscreen transfers. It's a home decor that can constantly change. It's something that doesn't have to stay the same month after month. You can change it to whatever you want. We're a direct selling company, been in business since 2016.
Wow. So we were talking a little about that chalk paste. For those that don't know, the chalk paste that they have does an amazing job to be able to lay on the fabric and then wash it out, right?
Absolutely,
Awesome.
That's correct. Yeah, the paste is created so that you put it on a hard surface. You lay the transfer over the top of it. You simply apply it. Anybody can do it. I mean, I am the least crafty person you'll ever meet, and somehow I'm a professional when it comes to that type of stuff.
Awesome.
Anyways, yeah, very easy to use. And yeah, at the end of the month, if you want to put something else on, it's simply water-based. You take a rag, you wipe it off, you put your next transfer on there, and you change the colors.
Sounds like that's a good fit for the upcoming holiday season. We've got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas right in a row. So
absolutely, this is a great time of year for our products.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so maybe you can tell us when and why did you implement NetSuite?
Sure. So we started our NetSuite implementation. Great time to start this. Let's start this in February of 2020. So we'll get started for a couple of weeks, and then we'll immediately turn and send everybody home. And being able to work from our homes, trying to implement an ERP system. But luckily enough, I had implemented NetSuite twice beforehand. This is my third time doing it. So it was something that I won't say was old hat, but I had some knowledge in enough to get myself in trouble. And I was able to lead the team, and we were able to get it started and get it rolling. But it took us about 6 months to truly get it to the point that we were functional, just because, just with the timing. Normally you can do it, in a few months, but just because of the situation that we were in and that we were having to work on lots of Zoom calls and things like that, there wasn't the direct interaction with our teams that we needed to have. So we implemented in October of 2020, and so we've been on it now for almost a year. Yeah.
Wow.
So kind of crazy. Yeah.
So you went live in October. How did ACS come about? Why choose ACS? You've gotten live. Why start it right then? And
sure. Well, let me backtrack a little bit to when I was kind of first introduced to ACS. So I worked for a company that was called Hewish Outdoors. We were the largest wholesaler and retailer of scuba diving and snorkeling equipment based in Salt Lake City. And I came over there as their corporate controller. And they had been running on NetSuite for about 7 years at that point. And so, I mean, very well versed, manufacturing portions of things, our warehouse management system, all of that stuff was all run on NetSuite. And so, new space that I was in that I really hadn't been with beforehand. And they had 26 scripts that were written. They were independently running in the background of NetSuite. Wow. So you can only imagine, kind of what that was like. Yeah. And they introduced me. I was there second day. They said, hey, here's our team from ACS, and they're going to help us anytime that there's a new update that rolls out or any of that. They go through, they do a complete run through of our entire systems to make sure that those scripts that we have running don't break when the new update rolls out, and all of that type of stuff. So I had not been aware of them before and had never used them before. And so I was like, okay, great. This sounds like a great team. Well, then we had one of those oh no moments happen where our NetSuite admin turned on the cross-subsidiary fulfillment functionality and left for the weekend. Now, I don't know how many people have ever used that beforehand, but it is something that once you turn on, you cannot turn it off. It's one of those wonderful things that is in NetSuite. And she said that she had done all the research, had done the testing, and had vetted it out.
We've all been there.
That was not the case. And so literally it was like 4 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. She turns it on and leaves for the weekend and goes camping up in the mountains. Well, out of sight, out of mind, has no idea what's happening. And within about a half an hour of her leaving, suddenly all of our systems were down. We were not able to take any orders. There was like everything, there was just panic. I had never seen anything like it in my life, because I was like, had never had anything happen like that. And so we were like, okay, what do we do? How do we fix this? I have no idea. I've never been in this situation beforehand. And it was really funny because one of the gals that was there working with us said, we need to call Dan at ACS. And I was like, oh yeah, the ACS guys. You had introduced me to them. Okay, great. So we called our ACS guy was named Dan Condi, and he actually, we're based in Salt Lake City, and he lives just south of us. And we explained the situation, and I heard kind of this groan over the phone, and he's like, oh no, there might be some real problems. Because I mean, he was fully aware of our system and all the scripts running in the background and all of that stuff. And so he
Just
said,
to be clear, so Dan was with ACS, and so you called him, and he had this knowledge and this background of your system that he could just leap right in.
Yeah, I was dead in the water. I mean, literally without Dan, I don't know what the heck I would have done, because I didn't know where to even start to try and fix this. Anyways, long story short, Dan actually came to the office on a Friday night, and he said, okay, we've got to talk through this. You've got to show me what's broken, how this is not working. So we went through, basically ran the gamut with him, and he said, okay, we're going to start building this. I'm going to go back down to the office. I'm going to start working with my team. We'll figure this out. So Friday night we left late. Saturday we're back in the office all day. He's working remotely, but we're on phone calls and Zoom calls with him all day long. Anyways, Sunday, same type of thing. We finally got it fixed about 6 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday afternoon, and we got going, and we were back up and running by Monday morning. So that was my first basically connection with ACS. And I said, wow, you know, they like, the functionality.
That'll make you a true believer. That experience will make you,
Yes, I was sold on them from that point on, yes.
So that's sort of an emergency situation, should we say. So how is ACS helping you at Choco sort of in the day-to-day? Maybe not the emergent or the emergency situation.
Yeah, so you know, we've been up and running. The implementation has you know, we use NetSuite's professional services. Great group of people. I mean, but you know, their goal is to get you up, get you functioning, get you running, which they did, no problem. Up, functioning, and running. But you know, there wasn't the dialed-in, detailed things that we needed, and so we said, okay, we've got to partner with somebody on the outside here to really help us kind of dial in and make things work. You know, if we're going to spend this money, I want the return on investment from using this software, and so so I called our exec and just said, listen, I need to get some ACS hours, and I really would like to have Dan Condi, the same guy that I had beforehand.
Hey, saved you last time.
I said, listen, I know what he can do, and you know, I'd love to use him again. So we requested him, and we actually were given him, which we were very grateful for. But you know, it's the functionality pieces of things. It's making sure that we have the correct reporting that needs to be there, and it's making sure that all of our systems are working hand in hand with one another. Specifically, you know, advanced manufacturing. Had never really used advanced manufacturing beforehand, and that was something new that we implemented, and we brought in all of our warehousing and fulfillment processes. Last year was not a great year for our third-party logistics company that we've been using, so we decided to bring all of that stuff in-house, and you know, we're bringing on a new shipping software and all of that type of stuff. And so it's just, okay, let's make sure that this stuff is truly going to work like we need it to. We don't have all the knowledge, so we need a partner to be able to help us. So that's where we turn to ACS.
Awesome. So thanks for the benefits today. So for those that don't know, we do a suite review process to start out. And a suite review, generally when a new customer comes on board to Advanced Customer Support or ACS, it helps to get deep into your business and fully understand your needs and develop a plan of action. So of course, I give that background. So I can ask you, how did the suite review process go for you, and how do you think it helped you out?
So never having been through it beforehand, it was like, okay, we're going to sit down, and it was unbelievable, because they went through every nook and cranny process that we had and said, okay, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? We realized that we weren't using vendor prepayments correctly. All of this type, you know, as they're talking through different portions of things and how and processes and how we used it, and I was amazed at how detailed that they really got with us in how our systems worked and how it functioned for us and where we were missing things. And so it was like, okay, do it this way. Make sure you're paying attention to this. And it really kind of changed our outlook, and we said, okay, maybe we need to take a step back, take a little more of a 500-foot view of this and say, okay, is this really how we want to do this, or is there a better way for us to do this? And that was what they did with that suite review. It was hours worth of time, and initially I was like, oh great, here we go. But then as soon as we get into it, I'm like, okay, I completely see the benefits, and I understand why we're doing this, so that they understand our business as much as we do. It's kind of a you know, cross both ways.
Hand in hand, it seems like.
Hand in hand scenario, exactly.
So. One of the things that I've been saying, as I've kind of been talking about ACS, and as I talk about ACS to customers, is that we find that ACS helps to focus on the software to free up you and your team to focus on the business and find the right solutions, but via leveraging the software. Do you find that to be accurate, and do the people that work either for you or with you take advantage of that, not just you?
Absolutely, yes. No, it has. I mean, once things are functioning correctly, then it changes. It takes the hours of things off of us that we don't have before. I mean, one of the biggest things that we had is, proper inventory management. That was one of our large things, and the PO process for ordering inventory and all of that type of stuff, and they stepped in, and it's really helped out our inventory team tremendously in that they are now able to step back. They're planning, scheduling, all of that type of stuff. It's given us a better process to get us further ahead.
So by us sort of leveraging and working with your team and saying this is the best way to do it, this is the optimal way to do it, kind of working hand in hand to get that completed.
Absolutely, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we talk about kind of the history, right? Your history.
Yeah.
We've talked about how you got to it. So tell us a little bit about the future, either future of Choco and/or the future of how you want to leverage ACS.
Sure.
Into that process.
Talk to both sides of things. So currently, right now, the reporting side of things, which I'm sure anybody who is on the finance side of things, reporting is largest. That's why we have NetSuite, is to be able to pull the data that we need to. And so currently we're working with NetSuite PB, the planning and budgeting, PBCS. I don't remember exactly how the terminology is for that, but we're working on implementing that, and we're working with NetSuite right now and another group for the implementation. Just because, look, I need this to function the moment we turn it on. I need it to function properly, and I don't need to spend 3 or 4 months trying to come up to speed. I need it to be built and come up to speed immediately. And so that's our big thing right now. We're looking as well to potentially bring the CRM portion of things into NetSuite right now. Right now we're using an outside system for that, but we see the functionality, we see the benefit of having it all in one system, which NetSuite provides, but we haven't pushed there. So that's down the future. And then of course for our company we're looking to expand internationally. Currently right now we sell in the United States and Canada.
A good opportunity for a playbook. I'm just going to plug that. It's a playbook. He's expanding internationally. We're going to throw a playbook in the mix.
I listened to the prior segment and I said, hey, listen, when we're done here, we're going to talk some more about that stuff. I'm going to go find Raj as well, and we're going to talk about some other things. Yeah, no, absolutely. We're looking to expand, to Australia, New Zealand, Australasia, Europe as well. It's hopefully globally at one point, but we're going to go in those directions for now. But that's kind of the plan for now.
That's great. So, how do you think NetSuite plus ACS plus Choco, have you grown? How has it expanded your business? Just at a brief level. I know it's a huge question, right?
Sure.
Well, we're doing business all the time.
Yeah.
But do you think it's really what were one or two specific benefits that you could say this has really helped us? This partnership with ACS and we know the use of the software. What's one specific thing that you could say, this is what it did for me or for my team?
So a couple of things. So currently we use a front-end ordering system that is not within NetSuite. And they've been helping us build that front-end ordering system to be able to get so that I have daily sales into my system. So that, on minute-by-minute basis, I can see things. We're still building that right now, but I can see exactly where that's going to get to me. Because one of my pain points is at the end of the month, I'm doing these huge uploads of all of the sales into the NetSuite system.
Wow.
But they're helping us. That's one of the things when we did that suite review, they said, listen, you've really got to fix this, and we can make this, and it's we can build an API between the two systems. We can make this work, and the functionality will be there. So huge for us. Same side with our warehouse management side of things. They stepped in and they helped us, and they said, okay, here's how you need to do this so that in terms of fulfillment flow and things like that, and working back and forth between the two systems, so that I know on an hour-by-hour basis what my inventory truly is, and I don't oversell products or vice versa, that type of thing, or I don't turn something off and actually we've got 10,000 things there. They've helped us build capabilities between those two systems. But the biggest thing is I have somebody who's there that knows my system, that when these updates roll out, they can say, hey, we got to look at this beforehand to make sure this, I mean, it's another set of eyes, and we all know when you're running financials, two sets of eyes are always better than one, because you're looking at things, you're thinking, okay, this looks great. Somebody comes in from the side and looks at it and says, oh, you're missing this portion. It's just a level of comfort on my side of things. I know I've got somebody who's in my corner at all times, and I know I've got somebody who, if there is a problem, I can call upon to help me. And that, as a director of finance, I look at that and I think, okay, this is really what I need. It takes a lot of weight off of my shoulders and allows me to do what I need to while I have somebody else helping me.
You know, I think we have to, I don't know if we're going to have to license it from you, but I think having somebody in your corner, ACS, we're in your corner, right?
Hey, there's your new tagline.
I know, right? It could be, maybe I'll just have to steal that from you. I also see that, it's just been a really interesting conversation for me, because so many of what we saw today in the keynote seems to apply to, that Customer 360, you're looking at taking CRM in, take advantage of that. We heard Mr. Wonderful talk about data, right? He said a bunch of other things, but say your business in 90 seconds and know your numbers, right? And it sounds like between planning and budgeting and NetSuite, you really have the opportunity to know your numbers.
Absolutely. I mean, every business is data driven. And the more data that you have, and the more insight, the more knowledge you have, the better you're going to be able to run that business. I mean, it's true.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, Ansen, thank you so much for being here.
Hey,
it's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it very much.
Appreciate your time.